It seems like every time you check the news, there's another story about AI. I mean, it went from like a far-off thing to being everywhere almost overnight.
It really does feel that way, doesn't it?
Totally. But with all the buzz, it's hard to sort out what's actually going to happen in the next few years.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here to do today, right? To cut through the hype and give you a clear picture of where AI is headed between now and 2030.
Absolutely. We've gone deep into all the latest reports, predictions, and analyses to give you a real grounded understanding.
Right. No science fiction here, just the hard facts about what's coming down the pipeline.
We're talking about the key technological breakthroughs that are driving everything.
Yep, and how those breakthroughs are going to reshape industries, how we work, how we live the whole picture.
Even some surprising trends that maybe aren't getting as much attention, but could have a big impact.
So let's start by diving into the core of it all.
Yeah.
The actual tech advancements themselves. What are the real game changers in AI right now?
Well, if we look at machine learning and particularly autonomous agents, you see a real push towards AI that can operate much more independently, making decisions and taking actions without constant human input.
Right. AI, it's not just a tool, but almost like a partner in a way.
That's a good way to put it. And the prediction is that by 2025, a really significant part of core business operations, maybe as much as 40%, is going to be handled by these autonomous systems.
Wow.
And that number is only going to grow from there, likely reaching 60% or even higher by 2027.
I mean, it's almost mind-boggling to think about AI running core parts of a business.
It is a big shift.
But when you look at how much progress has been made with things like neural networks, which for our listeners are essentially these complex AI systems that learn by recognizing patterns, kind of like how our brains work, the accuracy is incredible.
It is.
I mean, we're seeing 90% accuracy in identifying cancers, fractures, and neurological disorders.
Or MRI scans.
Right, from MRI scans and doing it in a fraction of a second.
It's remarkable.
It really feels like AI is becoming much more integrated into organizations, into the very fabric of how things work.
It absolutely is. And as that happens, a crucial thing for businesses to consider is their infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Their data management and how they handle information, because it's not just a matter of installing new software. You need to rethink how you manage everything.
Yeah.
And with AI making decisions based on potentially very sensitive information, the accuracy and reliability of those systems is paramount.
Right, you need safeguards.
You really do.
Okay, so let's move on to how we actually interact with these increasingly intelligent systems.
Okay.
That brings us to natural language processing, basically how AI understands and generates human language and the whole world of generative AI.
Right. This has really captured everyone's imagination lately, and for good reason. The forecasts suggest that generative AI is going to become absolutely everywhere by 2026.
Everywhere, huh?
Most businesses, maybe around 80%, are predicted to be using it to create synthetic customer data for training and testing. And it's not just about text anymore either. This is the exciting part, the move towards what's called multimodal generative AI.
Multimodal.
So instead of just text, it's AI that can understand and create images, audio, video seamlessly. It opens up a whole new set of possibilities for how we interact with AI and the kinds of value it can create.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it seems like younger generations are already super comfortable with this shift. We're seeing that like 40% of younger customers actually prefer interacting with chatbots when they're shopping online or need information.
That's right, and it makes sense. They've grown up with AI being a part of their lives.
It suggests a growing trust in AI, right?
Yeah. And beyond just customer interaction, generative AI is also emerging as a powerful tool for businesses to do things like simulate different scenarios or test out ideas, even brainstorm totally new product concepts.
That's amazing.
And the sheer scale of investment we've seen poured into this area since the emergence of ChatGPT, DLLE, and all these other models really shows you how much potential the industry sees in generative AI.
That's a huge sign. Okay, so we've talked about AI understanding and creating language, even images and sounds.
Right.
But what about how AI actually sees the physical world?
So that brings us to computer vision, which is closely linked to those multimodal applications we were just talking about.
Okay.
And the projected growth in this market is staggering, more than doubling between 2025 and 2030.
More than doubling. That's wild. What's driving that kind of expansion?
It's a few things. You have the ongoing advancements in deep learning, which allow AI to analyze images and videos with even greater accuracy and speed.
Okay.
Then you have the growing adoption of things like smart surveillance technologies. And, of course, the continuous development of autonomous vehicles, which rely heavily on computer vision.
Right. But it's not just about those applications, is it?
No, it's much broader than that. Think about AI used in manufacturing, for example, to automatically inspect the quality of products on assembly lines.
Right.
Or in agriculture, for precisely monitoring the health of crops.
I see.
Or even in infrastructure, for identifying potential maintenance issues before they become major problems.
Wow, it's everywhere.
It really is.
And you keep mentioning multimodal AI. Could you give us another concrete example of why that's such a game changer?
Sure. Imagine a situation like a natural disaster, right? A flood or an earthquake.
Okay.
A multimodal AI system could analyze news reports, satellite images, and even social media posts all at the same time to get a really complete understanding of what's happening as it unfolds.
So it's taking in information from all these different sources.
That's right. It's combining the text from news and social media with the visual data from satellite images to build a much more comprehensive picture, which would enable faster and more effective response efforts.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's move from the digital to the physical. Robotics. We've been hearing about robots changing our lives for years. Are we finally going to see some real changes in the next few years?
Yes, I think so. Over the next 5 years, we expect a significant leap in robotics, with robots becoming much more autonomous.
What does that mean, more autonomous?
It means they'll be able to make more complex decisions independently, collaborate effectively with other robots and with humans, and even learn from new situations and adapt. These smarter robots will be much better suited to operating in environments designed for people, homes, workplaces, public spaces, and they'll be able to perform a wider range of tasks, leading to significant productivity gains across different industries.
So we're not just talking about robots doing repetitive tasks in factories anymore.
Exactly. And it's not just about industrial applications. The personal robot market is also predicted to grow substantially, particularly for things like personal assistance robots that can help with everyday tasks and provide support at home.
Like robot butlers, basically.
In a way, yes. And a crucial technology enabling these advancements in robotics is the increasing integration of edge AI.
Right, edge AI. That's where the AI processing happens locally on the device, rather than in some far-off data center, right?
Yeah. That's right. And the market for this edge AI software is predicted to grow significantly because of the increasing number of intelligent devices and the Internet of Things. For robotics and IoT, edge AI offers huge advantages: faster response times, reduced latency, improved energy efficiency, and the ability to make decisions in real time, even without a constant internet connection.
So it's like giving these robots and smart devices their own little brains.
Essentially, yes, it allows them to respond much more quickly to what's happening around them.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so now let's look at how all these advancements are going to impact different sectors, starting with healthcare.
Healthcare is poised for a real revolution in the coming years, thanks to AI. We're already seeing huge improvements in diagnostic accuracy, like we talked about earlier with those neural networks.
Right, detecting diseases like cancer super early on.
Exactly. And that can drastically improve patient outcomes. AI is also expected to significantly speed up medical research, potentially leading to faster discovery of new drugs and therapies.
And what about personalized medicine?
Personalized medicine is becoming increasingly feasible, with AI helping to tailor treatments to an individual's specific genetic makeup and medical history.
It seems like AI could shift healthcare from being reactive to being much more proactive and preventative.
Absolutely. It's not just about treating diseases after they occur, but identifying risks and intervening early. And beyond diagnosis and treatment, AI-powered tools for mental health support are also emerging. These could provide 247 availability and potentially reach people who might not have access to traditional care. And we're seeing more use of AI for customer service in healthcare, helping to streamline administrative tasks. All this points to one thing: significant investment in healthcare AI, which reflects the widespread belief in its potential to improve patient well-being.
That's really encouraging. Okay, now let's switch gears to the financial world. It seems like another area ripe for disruption.
Absolutely. The key focus areas for AI in finance are enhancing efficiency, tightening security, and improving the customer experience.
Oh.
We're seeing the growth of what's called autonomous finance. This includes things like AI-powered chatbots for customer service, automated forecasting and trading models, and advanced AI systems for fraud detection and prevention.
So it's not just about algorithms crunching numbers behind the scenes.
No, not at all.
AI is becoming much more integrated into how customers experience financial services.
Exactly. Many institutions are already planning to heavily implement AI for both customer interactions and fraud prevention in the near future.
Wow.
AI is already used a lot for things like data analysis, fraud detection, and risk management. And we expect to see continued strong investment in AI across the entire financial sector, banking, financial services, and insurance.
Okay, let's move on to transportation.
Yeah.
We've been hearing about self-driving cars for so long now. What's the outlook for the next 5 years, up to 2030?
Autonomous vehicles are still a major area of development with the potential to completely change how we get around.
In what ways?
Think about optimized traffic flow in cities, less congestion, maybe even more accurate predictions of disruptions and delays. And it's not just cars. We might start to see more things like air taxis for urban transport and even more drone delivery systems.
Robot-driven Ubers in the sky.
Potentially, yes. The idea of fully autonomous fleets for ride-sharing services is also a real possibility, but there are still some pretty big challenges to overcome before we see widespread use of driverless cars, right?
Absolutely. Ensuring the safety of these vehicles in all kinds of real-world driving conditions is critical. And then there's the issue of public trust. People need to feel confident that the technology is reliable before they're willing to get into a car with no driver.
Right, makes sense. And what about regulations?
Yeah, establishing clear and comprehensive regulations for these vehicles is also crucial.
Okay, so lots of hurdles to clear, but the potential is huge.
It is.
Okay, now let's talk about how stuff gets made. How is AI expected to impact the manufacturing industry? Manufacturing is steadily moving towards more and more automation, with AI and robotics at the center of it all.
Okay.
We're seeing AI-powered robots taking over more and more manual tasks on assembly lines, which means faster production cycles, higher precision, and the potential for continuous operation even 24/7.
So factories that never sleep, basically.
Pretty much. And the integration of edge AI is key here,
Why is that?
because it enables things like real-time quality control through visual inspection and predictive maintenance.
Right. Predictive maintenance, that sounds like a big deal.
It is. AI algorithms can analyze data from machines to predict when they're likely to break down, which means you can schedule maintenance proactively and avoid costly downtime.
So it's all about efficiency and saving money.
Exactly. And like in other industries, we're seeing a lot of investment in AI in manufacturing.
Okay. It seems like AI is going to impact almost every sector in some way. What about education? How is AI expected to change how we learn and teach?
Education is another area where AI could have a transformative impact.
In what ways?
Imagine AI-powered tutoring systems that can personalize lessons to fit a student's individual learning style and pace.
That would be pretty amazing.
Or AI-enhanced classrooms that can monitor students' progress in real time and adjust the curriculum to address areas where they're struggling.
I see.
Students could get instant feedback from AI-driven tools, helping them grasp concepts more effectively.
So it's kind of like having a personal tutor for every student.
In a way, yes.
That would be a game changer.
And for teachers, AI could automate things like grading assignments, freeing up their time to focus on interacting with their students and providing more individualized support.
That sounds like a huge win-win.
It really does.
Okay, we've covered some of the major industries, but what about some other key sectors where AI is making inroads?
Customer service is one. AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants are becoming increasingly important, providing 24/7 support and driving significant market growth. We're also seeing advancements in generative AI that are leading to more natural and proactive customer interactions.
Right, it's not just about those basic chatbots that can barely understand you anymore.
Exactly.
What about retail?
Retail and e-commerce are being transformed by AI as well. Think about things like personalized product recommendations, enhanced visual search capabilities for online shoppers, virtual shopping assistants, and optimized pricing strategies.
So AI is shaping the entire shopping experience.
It is. And generative AI, again, has the potential to really revolutionize online shopping. Then you have the tourism industry, which is using AI for things like virtual assistants and chatbots to handle customer inquiries, as well as optimizing pricing models, revenue management, and booking processes.
Wow.
And finally, marketing is predicted to see a huge increase in AI adoption
What for?
for things like real-time analysis of customer insights, more precise audience segmentation, automation of content creation, social media listening, and improvements in visual search marketing.
It seems like AI is touching every corner of the business world.
It really is.
Okay, so now that we've talked about how AI is going to change these specific industries, let's zoom out a bit. As AI becomes more sophisticated and more woven into our lives, how do we make sure it's used responsibly? What are the big developments in regulation and oversight that we can expect?
That's a really important question. Governments and regulatory bodies around the world are paying close attention to AI. They recognize its potential impact, and they're working to establish guidelines and regulations for how it's developed and deployed.
What kinds of things are they focusing on?
Key areas include data privacy, transparency in AI decision-making, and accountability for AI actions. Different countries are taking different approaches based on their own priorities and values.
It seems like we're still in the early stages of figuring out the best way to govern this technology.
We are. It's a complex challenge.
Okay, now looking beyond individual industries, what broader societal shifts are we likely to see as AI becomes more deeply embedded in our lives?
AI has the potential to bring about some really positive social changes. Think about improved access to education, healthcare, and information for more people.
Those are all great things.
They are. But we also have to be aware of potential downsides and challenges.
Like what?
One concern is the increasing energy consumption of large AI models in data centers. That has implications for the environment and sustainability.
Right, and what about jobs?
Yeah, shifts in employment patterns and the need for widespread retraining are other major considerations.
People are worried about robots taking their jobs, basically.
There's definitely concern about that.
It's a valid concern.
It is. And consumer attitudes towards AI are also complex and evolving.
How so?
There's excitement about the potential benefits, but also concerns about things like data privacy and security. Some people are embracing AI wholeheartedly, while others are more hesitant or even resistant.
That makes sense. It's a lot to process.
It is.
Okay, so this brings us to a crucial question. The future of work. How is AI expected to change the job market and the skills that will be in demand?
The consensus is that by 2030, AI and automation will have significantly reshaped the vast majority of businesses and industries.
So big changes are coming.
Big changes.
What about jobs specifically?
While it's difficult to predict exact numbers, most experts agree that AI will both create new jobs and displace existing ones. We're probably talking millions of new jobs globally, but also a substantial number of current jobs being automated.
Millions, wow.
And what this means is that upskilling and reskilling, basically learning new skills to adapt to this changing job market, is going to be absolutely essential. It's estimated that as much as 39% to 40% of current job skills will become obsolete by 2030.
So people will need to constantly be learning new things to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And we're likely to see entirely new job categories emerge that are specifically related to AI.
Like what?
Things like AI ethics specialists, people who help ensure AI is developed and used responsibly, or prompt engineers, people who specialize in crafting the right prompts to get the desired output from AI models.
Interesting. So it's not all doom and gloom. There will be new opportunities.
Definitely. And generally speaking, roles that require uniquely human skills, things like empathy, creativity, complex problem solving, those are considered less likely to be fully automated. Skills in areas like data analysis, programming, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, those are going to be highly valued in the future workforce.
The people skills are still going to be important.
Absolutely. And a lot of companies are already prioritizing upskilling their existing employees to prepare for these changes.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
What are the jobs that are most likely to be automated?
Jobs that involve a lot of routine and repetitive tasks, things like data entry, telemarketing, basic administrative support, those are the ones most vulnerable. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2030, about 170 million new jobs will be created globally, but about 92 million will be displaced. Some of the fastest growing jobs are likely to be in fields like AI and machine learning, big data, fintech, and robotics engineering.
So it sounds like adaptability is going to be key for anyone navigating the future job market.
It absolutely will be.
Okay, so with all this activity and potential, where are investors putting their money in the AI sector?
The global AI market is set to explode in the coming years, with projections ranging from hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars by 2030.
Trillions, wow.
And generative AI is expected to be one of the fastest growing parts of that market.
Makes sense given all the hype we've been hearing.
Right. Key investment areas include AI software development, the production of AI chips and hardware, and AI-related services and consulting. The biggest investors and adopters of AI technology are healthcare, manufacturing, banking and financial services, retail, and marketing. The US and China are currently the leaders in private AI investment, but other regions like the European Union, Japan, Singapore, India, and Saudi Arabia are expected to become bigger players in the coming years. Market analysts are pretty much unanimous in predicting massive growth in the AI market. Some estimates put it well over $1 trillion by 2030, and broader economic assessments suggest that AI could add tens of trillions of dollars to the global economy.
That's a mind-boggling amount of money.
It is.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's talk about some of the trends on the horizon, things that could further shape the AI landscape beyond what we've already discussed.
Sure. One trend is the rise of even more sophisticated AI agents and AI teammates.
What does that mean?
These are AI systems that can collaborate with humans in much more meaningful and intuitive ways. They're not just tools, they're almost like colleagues.
I see.
And as we talked about earlier, the increasing prevalence of multimodal AI is going to lead to even more versatile and integrated applications. Then there's the concept of artificial general intelligence AGI, which is AI that has human-level cognitive abilities.
That's still pretty far off, right?
It is. It's largely in the realm of research and speculation right now, but some experts believe we might see some significant milestones towards AGI within this time frame, although there's a lot of uncertainty around that.
Okay, so AGI is something to keep an eye on, but not necessarily expect in the next few years.
Exactly. Another trend is the continued growth of edge AI and tiny ML, which is basically AI that can run on tiny devices with very limited computing power. This will allow AI to be embedded in even more everyday objects and environments. And there's a growing emphasis on developing AI with more advanced reasoning capabilities and on creating custom AI silicon designed for specific tasks.
What about AI for things like scientific discovery and personalized experiences?
AI has the potential to revolutionize those areas as well. It could dramatically accelerate the pace of scientific research across various fields, and it could enable the creation of incredibly personalized experiences, everything from entertainment to education. And of course, we'll likely see AI become even more integrated into our everyday lives, from smart homes and wearables to the development of smarter cities.
So it really feels like the possibilities are almost endless.
They really are.
Okay, so to wrap things up, what's the main takeaway for our listeners as they consider this rapidly evolving AI-driven future?
I think the next 5 years are going to be a period of immense transformation. AI is going to touch every aspect of our lives, from the technologies we use to the industries we work in, the societies we live in, and the economies we participate in.
Big changes.
Huge changes. We're moving toward a future where AI is more autonomous, more multimodal, and ultimately more integrated into everything we do.
And what does that mean for people?
It means we all need to be thinking about how to adapt and thrive in this new world. Individuals, businesses, policymakers, we all need to embrace a mindset of continuous learning, adaptation, and responsible innovation. We need to be proactive, we need to be informed, and we need to work together to shape this future in a way that benefits everyone.
So it's exciting, but also a bit daunting.
I think that's a fair way to put it.
Okay, well said. And here's a final thought for our listeners to consider. What specific aspect of this rapid evolution of AI do you think is going to have the biggest impact on your own life or your particular field in the next 5 years? And what steps can you take right now to prepare for those changes or explore that area further? That's it for our DTHAM today. Thanks for joining us.